All right, here we go. So, for today's lesson, we will be talking about several things involving melodies. Um, really, the focus of today is on what a motive is and things that you can do or that a composer does to screw with motives, essentially. So, first off, a motive, I didn't really go over it much in the last video, but a motive is something that is musical thought, is the um, shortest definition, but it is something that is important to a piece or a section, and it is featured frequently throughout the piece in one form or another. So, the most famous motive that I can think of is Beethoven. Bum, 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 bum is one small motive. Motives can be longer than just that, but it's really something that's just a small little figure that is featured heavily throughout a piece. So there's different ways that you can screw with a motive, play around with it. Number one is transposition, which is where you move it up and down and change keys, move it throughout the scale to where you have it in tonic and then you have it in dominant or something like that. Um, so that's bum 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 transposition. Bum 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 bum. It's the same notes, just shifted down. An inversion is whenever the notes, instead of going one way, go the other way. So transposition of or inversion of a theme or a motive like Beethoven would be bum 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 is the original, and then bum 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 would be the inversion. Um, so it's basically the pitches move in reverse. That's it. Um, the third form is retrograde, and retrograde is a big fancy word for saying play it backwards. That's it. So in Bach's Invention 8, you have bum 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 is the very beginning. So then you would have bum 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 would be the retrograde of it. So that's it. It's just the same thing played backwards. Um, and then there are important things about motives that are brought up that I forgot to bring up so far. That it's not just pitch material, but it is also the rhythms that are also important. So that really brings into the next one, which is fragmentation, which is where you just play a small snippet of it. So the full motive in Bach's Invention 8 is actually bum 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 ba da 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 dum. And then there's a second motive that comes after that. That's the first four measures. Um, so a fragmentation would be what I sang earlier, which is just bum 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 bum. It's just a small snippet of the original motive. And then there's augmentation and diminution, which are big fancy words that really just mean it being twice as fast rhythmically or twice as slow rhythmically. So Beethoven features that a lot with the bum 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 bum, because that's the first one. Bum 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 bum, nice slow and dramatic, and then ba 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 would be several little fast segments of it. So that's really it. So I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna type this out motive, musical thought, if I can spell. An inversion is opposite motion of pitch material. Retrograde would be backwards, for lack of. Just to keep it short, fragmentation is a snippet. So that's really everything that you can do with emotive. And there's also um, combinations. You can really combine any of these. One of the most popular combinations is retrograde inversion, which would be a lot of theorists say that it's the retrograde of the inversion. You could also just think of it as backwards and moving in opposite direction. So I'm going to quickly shift over and we're going to look at some of these examples. So in his book, Dr. Zanner says, let me shorten myself. Motive is a short musical idea incorporating pitches and rhythms in a form that is easily recognized and transformed. That's the big one. It must occur 2 or more times during the course of the work. We will examine melodic, rhythmic, and implied harmonic characteristics of motives through several works. So, motive structure is a lot like melodic structure that we went over in the last video. So, you have the melodic material, and this is him going over Bach's Invention 1. You can pull it up on imslp.org, and you can also probably you can definitely listen to it on YouTube. You could probably find a video with it playing along with the score. But he's just analyzing, like I said in the last video, melodies can move stepwise or skipwise, and they can give a certain chord outline and imply a chord. So that's really these two. And then in this chart, he's just analyzing the rhythm of it, which is straight 16th notes, missing the first one, 2 beats long. So basic transformations, transposition, moving on to different scale degrees. Do, re, mi, fa, re, mi, do. Sorry. And then up on G. Sol, la, ti, do, la, ti, sol. Retrograde, which is the same thing backwards. That's pretty sweet. Inversion, so note goes up, inversion, note goes down. Retrograde inversion is the backwards of the inversion, or if you want to look at the original motive, it's the motive going backwards, but note goes up, backwards, note goes down. That's it. Fragmentation is seeing the little sections that are important throughout the motive. So these are the 2 fragmentations. Is do, re, mi, fa, And then 4, 2, 3, 1. Rhythmic augmentation diminution. Here's an augmentation. It's twice as slow. It doesn't have to be in twos. It could also, he could have done it in triplet form or something like that. So throughout the rest of this, and I urge you to read through this, Dr. Zanner goes through and he talks about all the different things that you can take in out of the motive, which is what Bach uses in Invention 1. And later he goes through a Clementi. So there's one thing that I wanted to show you. This word sequence. You'll hear motive and sequence used a lot in tandem with each other. A sequence is just a rapid progression of motives that appear one right after another, and they are transformed in some way. So this first one, he goes through, he states it in the inversion, and then he does the inversion again in a different tonal center. This one kind of going through the 5 to 1 instead of this mostly one motive. So, and then he transposes it again, uses a fragment, uses the augmented rhythm. Bach is really, some of the great things about him, and especially in his inventions that you can see is how much he can get out of a motive. So you can look through this and you can see all those things, but yeah, and then at the very end last week, or in the last video, I spoke about a closing figure being something kind of random that appears just at a cadential point, and that's everything else throughout this first measure 3 to measure 6 is all based on this one motive. And then at the very end of the cadence point, he throws in something different. And the reason why he throws in something different is so the listener can know it's about to end and a different section's about to start. So that's really it about motives. So just a recap. Motives, a short musical idea. You can transform it through several ideas, and that is with transposition, inversion, retrograde inversion, retrograde, I skipped one, sorry, fragmentation, augmentation, and diminution. So that is it for this video. And thank you very much.